welcome to Fine Art Made Easy, Lesson 2, Part 2. Okay, so in Part 1, you saw how we did the mixes, okay, but in Part 2 we're actually going to paint the background and the foreground. So let's look at the picture again. So you can't see the background so clearly, but it does go from dark on the left to lighter on the right. On the foreground, if you look at the right side, it's slightly darker than on the left side. Okay, so what we can do is, I'm going to show you the black and the white. It shows it a little bit more easily now. So you look at the black and the white version, you can see on the foreground, on the left side it is definitely a little bit lighter where the shadow is, and you can also see the shadow more clearly. Okay, so let's go back, let's go to the mixes. Okay, so these are the mixes made in Part 1. So you can see for the background clearly from the left to the right. Left is darker, so it's burnt umber and ultramarine blue. The middle is slightly lighter, and on the right it's lighter still. Okay, and let's look at the foreground. So the darker mix on the left is the shadow. The middle one is the main foreground, and on the right it's a lighter version. Okay. So now we're going to paint the actual background and the foreground. Okay, we're going to start with the background. We're going to go from, say, left to right. Okay. This is a liquid. A bit of liquid here. Yeah, I'll mix it all together. I don't really care. Just use not too much liquid. It does thin the paint now, that's very thin, isn't it? A little bit more ultramarine blue there, because that's just too, that's better. I think there's not enough background. I'm going to make it a bit lower. Okay. I'm going to get to about a third. I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to drop it a bit lower. It's about fine, that's fine. Remember, it doesn't have to be very perfect. We're going to go over this again, so it'll look a bit watery, but that doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. It's about right. That's fine. So that was with the first, the value, the darkest one, as you can see. Okay, now we're going to do the middle one. So clean the brush a bit. Okay, now we go to the middle one. Oh, very watery, it's okay. Doesn't matter. Probably doesn't look much different, but it is a bit. That's more like it. Okay, I think that's about fine. So it's just third. It might not look like it now, but it is a bit lighter. I'll go over that one again and we'll just do the lightest one. So I'll clean my brush, bit of liquid, and then let's do the lighter area. See if it's going to come up. Yeah, it's definitely lighter. It's got more titanium white obviously in this one, so it's a bit thicker. The coverage is a bit better. Of course, burnt umber. I think burnt umber is, yeah, semi-transparent. So semi-transparent with a little more opaque. Of course, titanium white is a bit more. Let's have a look. Titanium white is a bit more opaque. I don't think it's opaque. I think it's semi-opaque. I'll just check. Okay. Let's bring that down there. Can you just work it in a little bit? Might go over it, just thicken it up a bit. So is that transparent nature of the paint and the liquid as well? It makes it very watery, but that's okay. Even when you try to go over it, it doesn't really. Okay, it doesn't do perfect because it's just the first layer. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you can see it slightly, so it's darker to lighter. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, now we're going to do the foreground. Okay, so I've run out of liquid. Let's put liquid just there, so you can see it. Okay, now I've just realised I haven't mixed as much paint as I need, so I have to make up a bit more. Okay, more than that actually. Right, so let's. Okay. So I want a bit more of the foreground, so I do a bit more burnt umber. It's actually quite a good idea to mix it again. Of cadmium yellow, and we'll do titanium white, a fair bit of titanium white. Let's mix that together, see what we get. So like, yeah, not bad, not bad. Okay, let's have a look. Is that too dark? I'm not too sure. Let's have a look. That's a bit too dark actually, so a bit more titanium white. Again, it's only the first layer, so if it's not perfect, it really doesn't make any difference. If you think you're just laying down the paint and getting the values right, that's just as important. I think that one is And let's still do dark. Because the more white I'm adding, I'm actually killing the hue. So if I add more white, it's okay, a little bit of white, because I put some cadmium yellow, but because I put that, right, I'm going to put more cadmium yellow, because I'm going to lose the hue. And only a little bit of cadmium, because cadmiums, of course, are opaque, and you just need a little bit. And they are expensive, the cadmiums, I'm sure you've all noticed that. So luckily, you need to use a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to use the rest of that titanium white, that should be enough. A little bit more cadmium yellow, there you go. That's better. I'm going to use that now, however it comes out. So, get some liquid and let's just paint on it. Let's have a look. Okay, it's very yellowish, it doesn't really matter. It's fine, that's fine. If you look at it, it's not even a cube, it's a bit rectangular, so I'm going to cut a bit away from it. Okay, that's it. It even looks a bit greenish actually, it says way too dark, but that's okay, it's okay. We'll always go over it again. Okay, now a bit here is a bit lighter here, so I'm going to use the other hue, or the other value I should say. It's definitely a bit lighter. Yeah, that's fine, as long as the value's there, it's okay. Just blend the two together a little bit. Not doesn't have to be very perfect, just a bit lighter around here. That's fine. Okay, now, okay. So again, so dark to light. It's darkish here, the huge one, but it doesn't matter. The darkish here, and then it goes lighter here. We're going to do the shadow now. Use a smaller brush. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be much bad, that's fine, I can always clean it up. Okay, that's basically enough for this one. Now, okay. What we can do is just kind of blending in those edges a bit, which is fine. That's fine. What you can do is recommend blending this one in as early as you can. So I'm going to leave it like that for now because it's only the first layer. Okay, so now this is just a cheap brush. If you look, I can show you. It's just a cheap brush, but I've used it a lot, and it's synthetic, so it's splayed out a bit, but it's nice and soft. So just have a look, just a little bit, and it does make a difference. Just blend it a little bit. I know it's. There you go. Don't worry about that. But it does make a difference. Just blend it in now. And you can do it again, so. Just don't put too much pressure on the brush, just lightly. And it doesn't have to be accurate, it can be paint over again. There you go, just like that. And that's fine, that's fine. And around the shadow as well. To clean your brush. Alright, just it can be quite untidy, it makes no difference. There you go, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Of course the shadow will, it's more difficult than this. It's supposed to blend out and fade out anyway, so if you want, because actually the shadow goes, there's this shadow and there's another shadow on top of this, it's a lot fainter, so you can just even just do that, blend it out a bit more, just like that. Fine. So I'll tidy it up a bit. So you've made the paint, you might as well use it. try and get as much down as you possibly can. There you go, that's fine. It won't look like anything. That's the thing, you look at it now and think, oh my god, it just doesn't look like anything. It won't look like anything now, it's not supposed to. Okay, so we go through it again. So we did the background, so dark, sort of mid-tone and a little bit lighter. It doesn't look so good. Also clear here. You've got dark, and it gets a little bit lighter around here, and especially around the shadow area, it looks lighter there. Okay, it's important that shadow in that lighter area, light compared with this area, okay? And the next video, of course, we're going to just focus on the cube. I didn't want to do the background and the foreground and the shadow and the cube together. That's too much in one video, too much. So we just focus on part 3, we're focusing on the cube. So we do the mixes, we carefully do the mixes. Okay, it's not too difficult for blue. And then we'll paint that in. Okay, and then when we paint that in, it'll come together now. So thank you for watching. Please go to lesson 2, part 3.